What if the car brand you trust is collapsing behind your back, and neither the company nor your dealer ever told you a thing? Sales are drying up, dealerships are struggling, model lineups are shrinking, and owners are left stranded with cars that plummet in value. Today, we're counting down the car brands that are on the brink of collapse, whether it's because of infamous scandals, disastrous corporate decisions, or simply getting crushed by the competition. And here is the most shocking part. The number one brand on this list continues to sell strongly, despite being in a deep crisis. Stay until the end, because what I'm about to reveal is something dealers don't want you to know. Let's get going. Let us start with a Korean luxury brand that was expected to take on BMW and Mercedes but became a cautionary tale instead. Yes, coming in at number 6 is Genesis, the luxury division of the UNE Group. The promise was simple: German-level luxury. Without the German price tag, impressive styling, advanced tech premium interiors, all priced lower than the competition. On paper, the idea sounded perfect. But here's the problem. Luxury buyers aren't just looking for bargains. They care about status. And that's where Genesis fell short. Many still see it as a Hyundai disguised in an expensive suit. The sales numbers might look okay at a glance, with almost 75,000 units sold last year in the United States. If you think that brand is struggling, the next one shows how a single rebrand can destroy decades of prestige overnight. You guessed it right. At number 5, we Ave. There was a time when owning a Jaguar wasn't just buying a car, it was buying status. Jaguar was the true gentleman's badge, known for its stylish design, elegant sedans, and roaring sports cars. However, today, Jaguar is just a shadow of what it once was. The F-Pace's SUV is the only remaining model in their lineup. As the brand pulled the plug on models like the XEX, FCF and I-Pace in 2024 across various markets, the company risked everything for a dramatic pivot to all-electric luxury, which created a product vacuum. Their new EVs won't arrive until 2026, leaving dealers with nothing to offer. Sales have been plummeting for years, and recent figures are so low they're statistically irrelevant. The rebrand was absolutely disastrous. The iconic Leaping Cat logo was replaced by something many criticized as generic corporate slop. Their infamous rebrand ad crushed decades of brand image overnight. The reactions were brutal, and their CEO stepped down months later. Several dealerships are closing, and the company is now kept alive almost entirely by Land Rover. Jaguars were never known for reliability either. RepairPal gives Jaguar just 2.5 out of 5 stars for reliability, putting them 29th out of 32 car brands. The recent events have destroyed customer confidence, and it's no surprise resale values are tanking. Jaguar didn't die because it was outdated. It died because it abandoned what made it special. If you think that was bad, wait. The next brand on the list was a Japanese cultural icon in the 2000s. Coming in at number 4 is a brand that once dominated world rallies and the streets. It gave us iconic models like the Lancer Evolution and Montero. Yes, I'm talking about Mitsubishi, a brand that once stood for affordable performance, off-road capability, and bulletproof reliability. That brand is now struggling to survive. In 2002, Mitsubishi sold almost 345,000 units in the US. 20 years later, that figure fell to just 86,000 units. And 2025 made things even worse. New US tariffs stole deliveries and left thousands of units stranded at ports. Mitsubishi had no choice but to hike prices, a huge blow for a brand that relied on budget-conscious buyers. Mitsubishi's lineup today is nothing like it was before. What remains is a thin list of outdated SUVs and crossovers that are outperformed by the competition on all fronts. Although Mitsubishi is generally known for reliability, the ownership story hasn't been trouble-free. Many owners report CVT transmission failures, suspension problems, and engine stalling. But that's only half the picture. Mitsubishi has been losing credibility for years. Back in 2000, the brand was caught covering up serious mechanical defects, a scandal that destroyed public trust. Then again, in 2016, the brand was caught falsifying fuel consumption data for over 625,000 vehicles. The fallout was brutal. The collapse was so severe that Nissan had to step in and buy a controlling stake just to keep Mitsubishi alive. Today, Mitsubishi is a brand that lost its identity, and it's no surprise their models lose value fast. The next brand on this list was called Driver's Luxury, And I'm not talking about BMW. Number 3 belongs to Infiniti. At one point, Infiniti looked like Japan's next big success story and Nissan's answer to Lexus. Their models appealed to luxury buyers who wanted BMW-like performance and handling with Japanese reliability. Their V6 and V8 engines were as powerful as they were durable. Cars like the G35, TFA series, and the QX80 shaped an era. Infiniti wasn't just a cheaper luxury brand. It had an identity, an attitude, and a loyal following. However, today, they are a brand running on borrowed time. In 2017, Infiniti sold 153,000 vehicles in the United States. By 2024, that figure fell to just 58,000 units, a 10% drop from the previous year. In response to slumping sales, the brand was forced to shut down standalone showrooms and retreat into Nissan dealerships. Models are disappearing, too. Production of the QX50 and QX55 ended in 2025, and the Q50, their last sedan, is already gone. Even though Infiniti is generally seen as reliable, their cars have had plenty of issues. Older models were haunted by problems with the CVT transmission. Tens of thousands of vehicles were recalled for major issues like engine failure, power loss, airbag defects, and faulty brake calipers. This shattered buyer confidence, and resale values took a huge hit. Infiniti is hoping to bounce back with new models and a future EV lineup. But whether that'll be enough is anyone's guess. In the meantime, owners are stuck with cars that are losing value fast, and a dealer network that keeps getting smaller. So, if you're looking for a car to keep for the long haul, Infiniti probably shouldn't be at the top of your list. The cars themselves aren't terrible, but buying into a brand that's losing ground is a risky move. Now, if you think this kind of collapse only happens to foreign car makers, think again. The next name on our list was once the pride of American automotive engineering. At number 2, we have Chrysler, a brand that used to be the go-to for millions of families across America. For decades, Chrysler meant innovation, comfort, and practical family cars that didn't cost a fortune. They brought the first production Hemi V8 to the streets and even invented the minivan, which completely changed the game for American family vehicles. Chrysler wasn't just a car brand, it was a piece of American culture. That badge used to command respect and prestige. Back in 2005, the brand sold over 640,000 cars in the US alone. But by 2024, that number plummeted to under 125,000. Shocking 80% drop from its peak. And 2025 is looking even worse, with sales on track to hit record lows. While its competitors were busy modernizing their lineups, Chrysler just kept refreshing the same old models for years. The Chrysler 300, one of the last cars that truly represented the brand's identity, was discontinued in 2023, closing the book on its most iconic sedan. The Voyager has mostly survived as a fleet-only model, though recently made a small comeback to the consumer market. And the Pacifica, the only real consumer model keeping the brand alive, is losing ground fast. Rivals like the Honda Odyssey, Kia Carnival, and Toyota Sienna offer better tech, more reliability, and hold their value much better. It is no surprise that Pacifica sales dropped by 11% in 2024. Dealership closures only made things worse. The Airflow EV was supposed to be Chrysler's big comeback, but Stellantis canceled the project halfway through development because it was too expensive and already outdated. Today, Chrysler is a brand with a very uncertain future. And that's not just me talking. Carlos Tavares, the former CEO of Stellantis, warned last year that several of the Group S brands could disappear by 2026. It is very likely Chrysler is one of them. And who takes the biggest hit? The owners, they're stuck with cars that plummet in value, with limited tech support and fewer available spare parts. Buying a Chrysler today comes with the very real risk of ending up with a car abandoned by its own manufacturer. If you thought that was bad, the next brand proves that even the giants of the auto industry aren't safe. The brand that takes our number 1 spot is Nissan. Now, I know that will surprise a lot of you, and for good reason. For decades, Nissan was a global powerhouse known for engineering excellence, innovation, bulletproof reliability, and affordable performance. Their cars defined generations and ruled the roads across continents. They gave us some of the most iconic names like the GTR, Armada, Altima, and Frontier. The Nissan badge was a symbol of respect worldwide. However, today, the brand is in real danger of collapse. Yes, you heard that right. In 2024, Nissan sold over 865,000 vehicles in the United States. That might sound solid, but internally, the company is in a total crisis. The Maxima, their flagship sedan, was axed in 2023 as sales tanked. The Altima is heading down the same path. Globally, Nissan reported a staggering loss of $4.5 billion, with operating profits down 90% in just 1 year. Worldwide sales crashed from 5.8 million units in 2017 to just 3.3 million in 2024. Nissan had to take drastic measures to stop the bleeding. The company laid off nearly 20,000 employees, slashed production, and shut down several manufacturing plants. Recently, Nissan pulled the plug on the Ariya EV and canceled 2 upcoming EV projects for the US market, leaving them with no real future in the electric segment. A brand that once stood for innovation now seems to have no strategy at all. Nissan's downfall didn't happen overnight. The cracks started showing years ago. In 2018, CEO Carlos Ghosn was arrested for hiding millions and using company assets for personal gain. This sparked a massive corporate crisis for Nissan, destroying trust with its partners. On top of DAT, multiple scandals involving emissions and fuel economy shattered public trust and ruined their reputation. In 2024, Nissan attempted a merger with Honda, but the talks fell apart when Honda demanded total control. Since then, Nissan has been desperately searching for alliances, but nothing has been signed. Internal sources have suggested the company has only 12 to 14 months left to survive before it needs to find a major investor. Let's hope Nissan can make a comeback, but things are looking very difficult for them right now. Buying a Nissan today is a risky long-term bet, because when a car company is fighting for survival, it's not the company that pays the price first, it's the owners. So, if you're considering a model from any of these brands, I urge you to take a step back, do your research, and think long-term. Because at the end of the day, the car you choose shouldn't become a financial burden. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which brand on this list shocked you the most? Or do you have a story of your own? Drop it in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.